real estate, at the same time, you mentioned you did back-to-back years of like 50 transactions while
Yeah.
still bartending.
Yeah.
What made you then decide to dive in full time into real estate?
The death of my son.
Mm,
So to be blunt, my wife and I lost a child. It's been 5 years ago now. And in those experiences, you learn a few things. One, you hear it often said, but Rich Roll is a guy that I follow. That's a great author, podcaster, everything. But he said you don't get a do-over in this life, which I agree. We don't. You find your priorities change. When you lose a child, I remember my wife going, we also had our son Beckett, who was 3 at the time. And she said, I don't want to miss more things.
mm,
And so we said, all right, how do we do this? And I said, the best way for us to do this is if you quit your job and I can focus more on real estate and try to make up that difference, and I'll use the old adage that we hear all the time from people trying to pitch us to leave. If I could teach you to do one more transaction or two, but that's kind of where my mind was. All right, I have to do this many more transactions to make up for your loss of income. And so, can I do it? Yeah, but it was kind of that same approach again. All right, sink or swim. All right. So my wife said, all right, I'm going to put my notice in. This is going to free up time for you to work more on real estate and really kind of, it's a partnership, right? I mean, that's why I say
yeah,
having that support of your wife or your partner is huge. And that's what catapulted me to go, all right, let's go full time. I wanted to be able to give my wife something that she wanted. Literally was zero to do with me or my ego. But I understood it. And then I also understood that life is precious. You got no idea. And at any moment that can be taken away. So as much as I like working or I wanted to make more money or whatever, you know what? I don't care. I wanted to have experiences. I wanted to give my wife, my other 2 children, the things that I wasn't giving them. And then literally that's the way I looked at it. I'm not giving you enough of me. I can give you money, I can give you gifts, but that never replaces you and I. And
right.
so I just wanted to be able to give more of me. And it worked out. And like I said, you look at your priorities and where you are and what's important to you in those times. And that was a shitty one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, sorry to hear the story, of that. And, it's one of those things, like you said, you got one shot at this. And that's why I always say, like, what's that lifestyle, right? Like, the big house is nice, the nice cars are nice, and all of those things are nice, but that doesn't mean that has to be what you're chasing after. I'm like you, for me, it's experiences. For me, like I was cool not having the nice car, not having the big house, but I wanted 6 vacations a year, right?
yep.
Like I wanted, I grew up being able to go camping and see a lot of the United States. And that's what I enjoy doing. And
Right.
here's the thing for me, experiences is, hey, Anna's my wife. Hey, Anna, you want to go to dinner tonight, right? Or hey, you want to go grab a drink tonight, or what? Like it's
Right.
small experiences, and then it's obviously the big
Yeah.
experiences.
Right. Yeah. No,
And I didn't want to be house poor, and I didn't want to be car poor, and
yep. That
um,
was all goals of mine.
and here's the other thing: I didn't want to be stuck to having to work Monday through Sunday 9 to 9 with clients either,
Right.
because you tell me that you're working with, closing 50, 60, 70 houses a year by yourself. Unless half of those are sellers, I mean, you're going to be gone 9 to 9 Monday through Sunday.
And it was about 50-50.
Yeah.
I will say, and I argue with a lot of people that I believe that a lot of people, I won't even say realtors, don't manage their time wisely. And I don't know. We could get on a whole rant about that for me because you always hear and it wasn't long ago, somebody, I said, oh, how's it going? I'm so swamped. I said, oh, what you got going on? They're like, I got 3 deals. And I was like, and what else? They're like 3. And I was like, you're swamped. You got literally 3 pending transactions. And so, I always, I tell my guys, hey, don't be busy being busy. And a lot of agents are busy being busy.
Yeah.
We don't utilize our time wisely. I'm a miracle morning guy. I believe if you lose an hour in the day, you're never going to get it back. I'd like to get in the office early. Why? Because come 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I'm peace out. I'm out for the day. I want to go see my family. Right. That's
Yeah.
why I do what I do. So,
Yeah.
Sorry, I got off sideways there.
No, I think that's perfect. I think it's perfect because I talk to agents all the time. I love when I see comments of like, yeah, I work 10 hours, 12 hours a day. I'm like, okay, well, how much is it BSing in the office? How much is it going to lunch for an hour and a half? How much is it, this, that, spending time on things that, aren't necessarily income producing activities. And I'm going to guess you probably learned that skill in the military, where you didn't have necessarily time to waste or people told you exactly what to do.
No, I mean, yes. I think once I got in it and I saw what it gave me, like,
Yeah.
hey, I can get home and my kid be home. My kid gets off the bus, or, tonight I got, baseball practice here in a little while, but like, I just didn't want to be that agent who's always available. I think that's bullshit. And I don't care if somebody disagrees. I think then you have shitty priorities if that's the way you are. And the reason I use that is I was at lunch with the mentor once, and two of us agents eating. And the other agent's phone rang. He looked at it. He said, "Oh, it's just my wife." And he kept talking. A couple minutes later, right, he's like, "Oh, it's just my wife again. I'll get her after lunch." Puts his phone down. About 5 more minutes later, it's like, "Oh, hey guys, I'll be right back." He goes, takes a call. 10 minutes later, comes back and says, "Yeah, it's a client of mine having some issues." My mentor looked over and said, "Hey, got your priorities fucked up." And the guy said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You ignored 2 calls from your wife, but you got up from this table and took a client call." He said, "Your priorities are fucked up." And it was an aha moment for me. I mean, it really was. I was like mind blown. And I was like, okay, that makes total sense to me. And again, it's about priorities.
Yeah.
My clients are a priority, but they don't rise above my family.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things, a priority. And I think that's one of the things most of us forget about is the flexibility that our job provides us. Most people, from what I've seen getting into the industry, they usually, get in because they want to make more money or they want some more freedom, some time freedom, or they want flexibility within their schedule. And the flexibility, the one is the one that I see a lot of us, myself included, that we forget about. It's always like, oh, we got to help the next client. We got to help next, we got to do the next show. We got to do all this. And, the money comes and then we typically lose freedom, right? If we're so, focused on that. Or if you start building a team, that's one way you can get both, right? Or all three. But yeah, that flexibility piece, like if you literally would just work 2 hours a day of prospecting and, touching base with your sphere and past clients and all of those things, you can make a ton of money in this business, and you don't have to work 10 hours a day at the office.
No, you don't. I mean, I used yesterday, we had a team meeting. I did it off site. So I said, "Why are you doing it off site?" I said, "Because I can in 4 hours do what I can do in 15 at the office." Why? No interruption, nobody knocking on the door, none of that. It's just solely focused work. No meetings, no, "Hey, what'd you do this weekend, John?" or any of that. It's just boom. And 4 hours, we got so much accomplished yesterday. I mean, again, utilization of time for people, they don't do it well.